Welcome to Learning with UNP. In this session of Business Intelligence with Power BI, we will continue our journey into mastering text functions, diving into text functions part 2. In our previous session, we explored foundational text functions such as concatenate, find, search, left, and right, which allowed us to manipulate and extract text in various ways. Today, we are going to expand our toolkit with more powerful functions. Trim, upper, lower, find or search function again to extract a specific character, length, left, right, and mid functions. These functions will help us further clean, structure, and transform our textual data, which is a crucial step in preparing data for meaningful analysis. So let's start with a brief introduction to these text functions. Text functions in Power BI are incredibly useful when we need to clean up and standardize text data, especially in datasets that come from different sources with varying formats. In this session, we will use a dataset that contains names with inconsistent spacing, varying cases, and additional information that we need to split or extract. Starting with trim function. The trim function removes all extra spaces from a text string, leaving only single spaces between words. It's commonly used to clean up data that may have leading, trailing, or extra spaces, which could affect data analysis or comparison. Let's now explore the parameters of trim function. In order to do so, click on the data, click on new column in ribbon. Over here, type trim. Hit tab. Text, the text string from which you want to remove extra spaces. Let's now consider an example where we trim the extra spaces from the names column in our dataset. Let's rename the column as trimmed name. Type trim. Hit tab. Since we want to remove extra spaces from names column under names dataset, type names. Over here we got the column. Hit tab. Close the bracket. Hit enter. If you can see here, we got a column named trimmed name, which has names without any unnecessary spaces. Now that we have handled extra spaces, let's move on to the next important function, upper, which is used to convert text to uppercase. The upper function transforms all characters in a text string to uppercase. It's useful when you want to standardize text for comparison or for specific formatting requirements. Let's now explore the parameters of upper function. To do so, click on the dataset. Click on new column. Type upper. Hit tab. The text string you want to convert to uppercase. Let's now consider an example where we convert the trimmed name column to uppercase. Let's rename the column as uppercase. Type upper. Hit tab. Since we want to convert trimmed name column into uppercase, let's type trimmed. Over here we got the column. Hit tab, close the bracket, enter. If you can see here, we have a column named uppercase in which all characters in the trim name column will be in uppercase. Let's move on to another useful function, lower, which does the opposite of upper. It converts all characters to lowercase. The lower function converts all characters in a text string to lowercase. It's particularly helpful for standardizing text when you want to perform case-insensitive operations or comparisons. Let's now explore the parameters of lower function. To do so, click on the dataset, click on new column, type lower, hit tab, text, the text string you want to convert to lowercase. Let's now consider an example where we convert the trimmed name column to lowercase. Let's name the column as lowercase, type lower, hit tab. Since we want to convert the trimmed name column to lowercase, type trimmed. Here we got the column, hit tab, close the bracket, hit enter. If you can see here, after we apply lower function, it converted all characters in the trim name column to lowercase. We have now transformed the text case, but what if you want to find the length of each text string? That is where length function comes in. The length function calculates the number of characters in a text string, including spaces. This function is helpful when you need to validate, format, or analyze string lengths. Let's now explore the parameters of length function. To do so, click on the dataset, click on new column, type len, hit tab, text, the text string whose length you want to measure. Let's now consider an example where we calculate the length of trimmed name column. Let's name this column as length. len, hit tab. Since we want to calculate the length of trimmed name column, let's type trimmed. Here comes the column, hit tab, close the bracket, hit enter. If you can see here, we have a column created named length. This will calculate the length of text in each row of trimmed name column. Let's now go over on how to extract the first name, last name, middle name and find the second position of A from a name stored in the uppercase column of our dataset. We will be using 4 key functions in Power BI: left, right, mid and search. Let me begin by giving you the definition of the left function. The left function extracts a specified number of characters starting from the left side of a string. To look at the parameters of left function, click on the dataset, click on new column, type left. Here we have 2 parameters: text, the string or text from which you want to extract characters; number of characters, the number of characters to extract from the left side of the string. For our example, let's consider to extract first name from uppercase column. Let's name the column as first name. We want to extract first name from uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here we got the column, hit tab, comma, type search, hit tab. As you can see here, search function returns the starting position of one text string within another text string. Search function is not case sensitive, which means search function is case insensitive. To extract first name from uppercase column, we first need to find the first space in the uppercase column. So type quotation marks with a space between them, comma, the first space has been searched in uppercase column, type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, close the bracket. Over here, we want to get the number of characters before the space, which is the length of first name. In order to get that, type -1. Close the bracket, hit enter. Let me brief what this formula is doing. This part of the formula finds the position of the first space in the name. By subtracting 1 from the search result, we get the number of characters before the space, which is the length of the first name. The left function then extracts that number of characters from the start of the name and finally gives us the first name. Now let me explain the right function. The right function extracts a specified number of characters starting from the right side of a string. To look at the parameters of right function, click on the dataset, click on new column, type right, hit tab. The parameters are here: text, the string or text from which you want to extract characters; number of characters, the number of characters to extract from the right side of the string. For our example, let's say we want to extract the last name from uppercase column. Then we use right function to do so. Now let's name this column as last name. Type right, hit tab. We want to extract last name from uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, comma. Now we need to determine the length of the last name. To do this, we first need to find the position of the second space which separates the middle name from the last name. So type search, hit tab. We are trying to search space, so type quotations with space in between them, comma. We are trying to find in uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, comma, search again, hit tab. We are trying to search for space, so type quotes with space between them from uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, close the bracket, +1, close the bracket. This will look for the second occurrence of space in the string. Next, we subtract the position of the second space from the total length of the string to get the length of last name. To do this, let's come over here, type length. Since we already have length column created, let's use the length column. Here is the length column, hit tab, minus. Come over here and close the final bracket. Hit enter. Now let me brief you what this formula is doing. This part of the formula finds the position of the first space in the name. By adding 1, we aim to include everything after first space, which essentially pulls off the last name. Then the right function ultimately extracts the portion of the name and finally gives us the last name. Next, let's look at the mid function, which helps in extracting the middle name. Let me explain you the definition of mid function. The mid function extracts a substring from a string starting from a specified position. To look at the parameters of mid function, click on the dataset, click on new column, type mid, hit tab. Here are the parameters: text, the String from which you want to extract a substring. Start position, the position in the string where the extraction should begin. Number of characters, the number of characters to extract. For our example, let's say we want to extract middle name from uppercase column. So we use mid function to extract the middle name from uppercase column. Now let's name this column as mid name. Type mid. Hit tab. Hit shift plus enter to organize the formula properly. Since we want to extract middle name from uppercase column, type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab. First, we need to find where the middle name starts. So, we find the first space which separates the first name and middle name using the find function. So, let's start typing it. Hit plus enter, type find, hit tab. We are trying to find the first space. So, type quotations with space between them. We are trying to find an uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, close the bracket. Since the middle name starts right after the space, we add 1 to the position of the first space. So type +1, comma. Next, we need to find where the middle name ends. So we find the second space which separates the middle name and last name using find function again, but starting the search after the first space. So let's type it. Click shift plus enter again. Type find. Hit tab. We are trying to find space, so type quotes with space between them, comma. We are trying to find an uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, comma, find again. Close the bracket, +1. Now, to get the length of the middle name, we subtract the position of the first space from the position of second space. To do so, let's type the formula, minus find, hit tab, find space, from uppercase column, -1. Click shift plus enter, close the final bracket. Hit enter. Now let me brief you what this formula is doing. This part of the formula locates the position just after the first space. This part of the formula locates the position of the second space, and the difference between two find results gives us the number of characters to extract as the middle name. And finally, it gives us the middle name from uppercase column. Finally, let's talk about finding the second position of A using the search function. Let me explain you the definition of search function. The search function returns the position of a specified substring within a string. It's case insensitive, means search function is not case sensitive. To look at the parameters of search function, click on the dataset, click on new column, type search, hit tab. Here are the parameters. Find text, the text you are searching for. Within text, the string in which you want to search. Start position, the position from where to start the search. Not found value. If the text you are searching for is not found, then what value the function should return? It is optional. Let's say, for our example, we want to search the second occurrence of A in uppercase column. To do so, let's use search function. Now, let's name this column as second A position. Type search. Hit tab. First, we find the position of the first A using search function. Let's type A in quotation marks. Over here, let's use capital A. Comma, we are trying to search in uppercase column, so type uppercase. Here is the column, hit tab, comma. And to find the second A, we start searching right after the first A by adding 1 to the position of the first A and using this as the starting point in another search function. So type search again, hit tab. We are trying to search A, so use A in quotation marks from uppercase column, +1. Close the bracket. Sometimes there might not be a second occurrence of A in the text, so we use the if error function to handle this situation. So let's come over here and type if error. Here is the function. If the second occurrence of A is found, search returns this position. If the second occurrence of A is not found, search would return an error. So if error catches this. Now let's come over here. So we want the function to return 0 if second occurrence of A is not found. So let's type 0. Close the bracket, enter. So let me brief you what this formula is doing. This part of the formula finds the position of the first occurrence of A. This part of the formula then starts searching from the position just after the first A and finds the second A. Finally, if error function ensures that if there is no second occurrence of A, the formula will return 0. And finally, we have a column named second A position that returns the position of second occurrence of A if it is present. By using this formula and function, we can efficiently extract different parts of a name and locate specific characters in Power BI. Click Ctrl S to save the changes. This is all about today's lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.